It's 1 a.m. and you're lying in bed planning how you're going to rebrand your entire existence. From finally getting your body together to launching that business so you can leave your job and even upgrading your entire wardrobe. But then the morning comes. You rush through your routine, push through your 9 to 5, and by the time you get home, you tell yourself, I'll get to my goals later. But then later never comes. Instead, you scroll, you snack, you binge watch a show, and before you know it, the cycle repeats. Another week gone. And you tell yourself, I could achieve my dream life if only I had more time in a day. Here's the truth. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to design the hours you already have. In this video, I'm going to show you how to redesign your time so it works like a second job, the one that builds your dream life. And here I'm going to break down the map on exactly how you're going to do it, step by step. So step 1, we need to do a reality check. We need to figure out how much time do you actually have when it comes to going after your goals. The problem is you never ask yourself, out of 24 hours, how many of those hours are already taken up. So let's start thinking about things such as sleep. You should be sleeping at least 8 hours a night. Think about 8 subtract 24. Think about work. Most individuals are working at least 8 hours as well. That is subtracting another 8. If you are going to school, that is a different time period, but then also commute. Are you always in traffic for 30 minutes every single morning or when you come home from work? Those are things that you cannot change. Out of 24 hours, what is the time that you cannot touch? You literally cannot do anything else during this time period. We're not going to think of things that change variably, such as washing clothes, such as cooking, because those things are not things you have to do literally 5 days out of the week, almost every single day. So that is the first step you need to do, a reality check. Become realistic with how much time do you actually have in a day out of 24 hours. There's a certain amount of time that is filled and there's a certain amount of time that you have. You should be able to come up within an hour time frame of how many hours do I have that are variable hours. I might be doing something during those hours. I might not, but they're not in the time period of the time that I do not have. So that is the first step, calculating how many hours do you not have in a day. Step 2, this is called energy mapping. Essentially, what are your cup fillers and what are your cup drainers? This is so imperative because you need to figure out what are the specific hours in which you have high energy and when you have low energy. When you are trying to start new goals and do new things, that is what you should do during your high energy times. The mundane tasks such as washing clothes, such as you cooking, should be done during your low energy time. The reason why this is so important to figure out specifically what hours are more high energy and ranking what hours are more low energy is because first, it makes sure that you don't waste energy, but then also it makes sure that you are the optimal time to do this task. What messes up a lot of people is you hear people say when is the best time to do something. So you hear people say things such as the best time to go to the gym is in the morning, or the best time to do this task is at this specific time. And so you try to do that, but then you're a night owl. You actually have higher energy when it comes to the nighttime and lower energy in the morning. And so time after time, you keep convincing yourself, I can't go to the gym. I can't stay consistent. I just can't do it. No, you never really figured out what is your high energy hours. Another thing too, some people try to go to the gym after work. They're like, okay, when I leave work, I'm gonna go to the gym. You're not recognizing that is a low energy time period for you. That's why it's so hard for you to stay consistent. This is so important to understand because once you start understanding this, you start figuring out what are the optimal hours to do specific goals. You're not wasting your high energy time cooking. You're not wasting your high energy time doing the boring mundane tasks. And then you're not trying to do the new goals during your low energy time and convincing yourself, can't stay consistent. I can't do this thing. It is not something wrong with you. It is just you don't know how to use your energy. So this is so imperative to figure figure out what is that sweet spot for you. When you have the highest amount of energy and the lowest amount of energy. And you could even break it down as far as hours, so you could start getting an idea of when is the best time to focus on your goals and when is the best time to do the boring stuff. Now, step 3 is identity-based time anchors. Now, this is going to make sense and you're going to know what you're supposed to do if you've been keeping up with my pre-season for my 90-day lock-in series. You should have figured out what to do on the last video. If you're not familiar with that video or the series, I definitely recommend to check that out. I'll link the playlist, but you also can watch this and I'll explain so it makes sense. When you figure out what is your high energy, low energy time period, you need to create an identity around that thing. You need to have identity-based goals, and that needs to be an identity-based hour and or hours. So instead of saying, I go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 a.m., that is a health hour. Instead of saying, I focus on my business plan at 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, that is my business hour. The reason why it's imperative to focus on the identity and not just focus on a specific thing you want to do is because what if you can't do that thing? What if your gym is closed? Or what if you got an injury? Instead of telling yourself, oh, well, I just can't go to the gym. I just can't focus. I can't do that. It's a health hour. You're building an identity. You still can do something related to health. You can meal prep. You can juice. Instead of trying to figure out how to do specific things to achieve a specific goal, you need to figure out what specific identity that you want to have. For whatever reason, let's say you can't focus on the business plan for some reason it's halted. Okay, well, maybe you can read a business book. Maybe you can watch a business podcast during this hour. The whole idea behind it is that you are building an identity. You even can read things or listen to things talking about finances when it comes to a business. The reason why it's so important, like I said, to build an identity is because there's multiple things that go under an identity. When you tell yourself you have to do a specific thing at a specific hour, first and foremost, in my opinion, you become a little bit of a robot. But then second of all, you just get to accomplishing a task. Like that's all you're doing. You're a task rabbit. Oh, I go to the gym at this time. Oh, I read a book at this time. But what is the whole point of the thing? Don't you go to the gym to become healthier? So if you can't go to the gym, that means you're not healthy now? Because let's just say you literally can't go to the gym. Oh, you can't work on this business specifically for whatever reason. Let's say it was halted or something like that. So now you're not a business owner? No. So stop giving yourself specific things to do. And for this allotted amount of time, figure out what is it going to be. And this is based on your identity, a health hour, a business hour, a creator hour. Whatever that time period is, you need to label it specifically based on your identity because that is going to allow you to figure out what are the things you need to be doing to keep up with that identity and not just keep up with that specific goal that may or may not change, if we're being honest. Step 4, prototype your week. So I did also use the term prototype again in the last video, and that just essentially thinks about it as experimenting. So we did talk about the energy mapping and figuring out the time periods, but we need to prototype it. We need to figure out, were we right? We said we wanted to do it at this time. We said the early morning was our health hour. Let's try it out and see if that's true. But then also, like any good experiment, you have to try other things to figure out what is the best one. If you only do one, it's easy to think that that's the best one when it really could be something else. So this is prototypes A, B, and C. I gave you examples here. Of course, you can figure out your own. I would say try not to do any more than 3. You honestly can even do 2. And I would say try to prototype them for about a week or 2 consistently and just pay attention to your energy levels and just how you feel. So for example, let's say prototype A, you're trying early morning. 2 hours before you have to go to work, that is your health hour. So you're going to the gym, you're meal prepping, whatever you consider to be health for you. You're going to your workout class. Then the next week, you try evenings after work. You try going to the gym. You try the workout classes. You compare those. Which one feels a little bit better for you? Which one worked more smoothly? Which one did you enjoy? And another option is C, weekend deep work. Now, This one is dependent on your goal because everyone's not going to be able to do this. And this is more so for things such as businesses or learning skills or something like that. This probably wouldn't work for like health or fitness or different things like that. Weekend deep work is essentially instead of before work using 2 hours, after work using 2 hours for your health hour, business hour, Monday through Friday, you live your life the same as you always did. But on the weekends, you spend longer times focusing on a specific goal. So for example, let's say 2 times 5, 5 days out of the week, you wake up in the morning, you go to the gym, for example, that's 10 hours. Instead of doing 10 hours in 5 days, you do 10 hours in 2 days. So you do deep work. So on Sunday, you do 5 hours worth of work. And on Saturday, you do 5 hours worth of work. And this, like I said, doesn't work for everyone. If you're talking about going to the gym, that's probably not going to be too beneficial. That's a lot extra working out 5 hours a day for 2 days out of the week. But like I said, if you're learning a skill, if you're doing a business, that might be more beneficial to you based on what you're doing. But I definitely would say try these out. If you have any other time period throughout your day, let's say you have an interesting schedule, you can try out some others. But like I said, I do not recommend trying out more than 3. And for most people, I really would just say 2. I just wanted to add this one because this honestly might work for some people as well. But prototype these, try these out and figure out what actually works for you. It's so easy for us to just hypothesize, oh, this is the best time, oh, this is the best thing. But then we have nothing to compare it to. So how do you know the best time for you is the early morning if you never tried the afternoon? Step 5 is guardrails and good friction. This is so imperative because you need to figure out your distractions. You can do everything I've listed. You can do the reality check with your hours. You can figure out the best time to do it with the energy mapping. You can figure out the identity-based hour. You even can prototype and figure out the best way you're supposed to do it, the best time. But if you do not figure out what your distractions are and protect those time blocks in which you're supposed to be doing your goal, you're never going to get to your goal. You need to literally figure out what they are and then how you're going to protect them with good friction. Guardrails, how to protect them. So essentially, figure out what are your distractions. Maybe it might be you being on your phone. I feel like I'm always on my phone. I'm always getting updates. How are you going to protect it? Putting my phone on D&D. I try to do work in the house, but I just feel like everybody in my house is always distracting me. How are you going to protect it? Do work at Barnes & Nobles. I literally cannot get any work done at home. I don't even try anymore because I already know I'm going to get distracted. I'm going to fall asleep. I'm going to get too comfortable. Even for some people, you're like, I can't do work in the house, but I don't have a car to go to Barnes & Nobles. Okay, well, maybe you need to wake up 2 hours earlier than everybody so you can get that thing done. Essentially, figure out what's distracting you. Maybe you do need to, meal prep. For you, or especially if you have kids or anything like that, you're like, I gotta cook for my kids and I wake up in the morning and they want breakfast. How to protect that time period? Meal prep. Like literally figure out what are your distractions. It can be people, it can be places, it can be things. And then figure out what are you going to do to protect that time period. A distraction for me even was when I used to go to Barnes & Nobles when I first started, I always used to be tired. I don't know why, I guess my body was adjusting. I started bringing energy drinks. It sounds crazy to some people, but sleeping was a distraction for me. I wasn't able to do what I had to do. How did I protect that time period? I literally would bring an energy drink to help me. A distraction was sleeping. Figure out anything that is stopping you from getting to your goal, anything that is disrupting that identity-based hour, and then figure out what are the necessary things you're going to have to do to protect that thing, i.e. make that distraction not happen. But this one is so imperative because nothing will work if you are making everything perfect, but you have distractions. Now, step 6, weekly reflection. Essentially, it's going to look a little bit like this. Reflect, tweak, repeat. The first thing I want you to ask yourself is, on a weekly basis, 3 questions. The first one, did I protect my anchor hour? So the identity-based time anchor hour, did I protect it and how? So that's going back to the distractions. And this is going to be great looking back on to start figuring out how did I protect it and what did I do? So you can start kind of creating a ritual to kind of understand, okay, I woke up early in the morning so my family didn't bother me. Boom, that's part of the ritual. I went to sleep early so I can wake up in the morning so my family didn't bother me. Boom, that's part of the ritual. I, put on soft music and that helped. Essentially, just figuring out how did you protect it. So next time it's time for you to get into that zone, that mode to do what you have to do, you literally can just be like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do that. And you also become aware of, if I don't do this, what's going to happen? If I don't wake up in enough time, my family's going to bother me. I'm not going to be able to do it. If I don't bring an energy drink, I'm going to fall asleep and I'm not going to be productive. So figuring out, how did you protect that time period? Or also talking about, how didn't you protect it? What are some of the things that happened, that came up, they arose this week that you weren't expecting? The next question is, do I spend more time in reaction mode, putting out fires, or creation mode, building my future? This one I'm going to explain because I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but I want you to become aware of what's going on in your life. So first, this is correlated to my 90-day lock and run, which does start September 25th. And it is broken up into 30-day chunks, as I explained in the first video. With that being said, after the first 30 days, your distractions should go down dramatically. You should not still be in reaction mode. Reaction mode is, this happened, I had to fix it. That happened, I had to fix it. This distracted me, I had to fix it. In the beginning, you're going to have a lot of distractions because it's going to be new. But by the time you're getting into the part 2, essentially, of the 90-day run, which is the next 30 days after the first 30 days, you're getting into like your 60-day run. There's no reason why you still have 80% distractions. You're still putting out fires. That means maybe you need to change the way you're going about the goal, because you have to pay attention to, you're spending so much time reacting. You didn't even start building the life yet. You didn't even start really getting into that gym mode, locking in. You didn't even really start getting into that business, figuring out how you're going to scale it, how you're going to make money. You still getting rid of distractions. And so you have to ask yourself, maybe I need to change the goal. Maybe you keep trying to go to the gym, build the gym body like all these girls. Maybe you need to start looking into dance classes, or maybe you need to start looking into swimming classes. Maybe you keep trying to go after a specific degree and you're doing all the things I told you to do, figuring out the right time, figuring out the right hour, all this other stuff, but you're like, I still can't pass these classes. It still doesn't make sense to me. I know for some people that sounds crazy. Maybe you need to change your major. Maybe this is showing you actually don't like this thing. But I think a lot of people never become aware of this part, and they end up thinking it's something wrong with them because they're like, nothing is working for me. Nothing is working for me. I'm trying my best. I'm doing all the things she told me to do, but distractions keep coming. A lot of times that's a sign. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you need to pivot. And for some people, it might be changing the goal entirely. Maybe you're focusing on the wrong goal. Maybe you're trying to get your body together and look cute and look nice. Or even not even try to be funny. Maybe you're just trying to be healthy, but it just feels like money keeps coming up. Money keeps being a problem. Maybe that's what you need to focus on right now. Building something that will help you make more money. So maybe you need to focus on a skill or going back to school. But essentially, you need to pay attention to, on a weekly basis, when am I spending more time doing? Reacting to my distractions, trying to, oh, I had to do this. Oh, they woke me up in the morning, so this had to happen. I couldn't focus in the hour. Oh, this person bothered me, so I wasn't able to focus. Oh, this thing happened. Or after the 30 days, after the first 4 weeks, you should actually start building. Don't get me wrong, there's always going to be distractions to a certain extent, but it should be dramatically down. It should not be percentage-wise anything even relatively close the first 30 days that it is the first 60 days. And so pay attention to that. Am I still in reaction mode, putting out fires? Or when am I starting to build my life? And what does that actually look like for me? And the final one, of course, will be tweaking. This is you just asking yourself, what am I going to change next week? What am I essentially going to tweak so that things can work more smoothly? The idea behind this is that with all these steps, you are going to figure out how to focus more on building your dream life so that these anchors, these identity-based things eventually become a part of your identity, and then they're just a notch on your belt and goals that you achieve. Weekly reflection is so important, imperative, I always say, because this is how you are going to become aware of what is working and what is not working. It is so easy for you to say, what's working and what's not working. But if you're not aware, you cannot know why. So you cannot repeat the things that are good and you cannot stop the things that are bad. So a lot of people don't like this. They think this part is boring. Oh, just writing. It's not that good. It's not that fun. But I promise you, this weekly reflection is what you're going to be going back on. So when you're building your dream life, you can know what works and what doesn't work when you're creating this routine. Now, I know after going through all these steps, some of you probably are like, this isn't realistic. Where's the time where I'm supposed to be grocery shopping, washing clothes, cooking? How am I supposed to fit in that time? In the beginning of the video, if you paid attention, I said, this is how you are going to design your goals as if it is your second job. If you have to get another job for whatever reason, are you going to be able to cook while you're at that other job? No. Are you going to be able to wash clothes while at the other job? Grocery shop? No. The whole reason why I wanted you to create this is because I want you to kind of think about it like you doing this. You just built another job, another thing that you have to do on a consistent basis that you can't waive. And now this is the amount of time that you have left, let's say essentially to cook, to wash clothes, to do those things. You have to start treating your goals as if it is a second job. So many people treat their goals like, oh, I can do it when it's convenient for me, or I can do it when I want to do it. You're never going to want to do it, but you also never want to go to work. So what are we going to do? And I know that might sound a bit harsh, but I want you to start taking this serious. There are things you can do for time saving. You can do things such as outsourcing, right? Instead of spending so much time grocery shopping, almost every grocery store has a way for you to pick up your groceries. And even if you got the money for it, you can have them delivered to your home. Instead of spending a whole bunch of money doing things such as washing dishes, buy paper plates, buy paper cups. If you have the money for it, you can even start bringing your clothes to a laundromat so it can start getting washed there. Start outsourcing things. You don't have to do every specific thing. There's a business, there's a company for everything to help you save time. Another one, start habit stacking. Start doing 2 things at once. While you're cooking, you can also be washing clothes. There's so many different things you could do at the same time. Disclaimer, do not mix that into your identity-based time anchors. Don't habit stack during that time period, because I always say only habit stack things you can do unconsciously. Only habit stack things you can do kind of without thinking about. Because when you start habit stacking new things, it makes it harder to learn that thing and it just takes more time. But let's just be completely honest. You do it all the time. You be on the phone while you be cooking, while you be watching a Netflix TV show. Like, we habit stack all the time. Start habit stacking things that you have to do. Another thing you can start doing, prepping. You can prep almost everything. You can meal prep. I even would do things such as prepping my clothes. On Sundays, I literally would prep my clothes throughout the week and put them on hangers. So all I have to do is take them out the closet. Prep as many things as possible. Another thing you can start doing is you can start organizing. I know that sounds crazy. I mentioned this in the last video. Everything should have a home. You don't realize how much time you waste because you're looking for your hair products in the morning to do your hair. You're looking for your keys. You're looking for you want to be a content creator? You keep saying your creator hour. You should have a bag for all of your content stuff. It shouldn't be, oh, I think my tripod is in the corner. You say you want to start a business, your business books, your laptop, your notebooks, they all should have a designated place that you put it at, so you can start knowing where things are. And there's a lot of other videos specifically you can watch on time saving. But like I said, you need to figure out what you're going to do during that time period. You don't have it no more. You don't have that entire block no more. Now part of that time is built with your identity-based hour. This is your second job. If you want it as badly as you say you want it, you want to change your body that bad, you want to get that business that bad, you want to start a new career that bad, you're going to treat it as if it is a second job, because that is the only way it's going to be sustainable. Now, thank you so much for watching my video. And of course, there will be a worksheet below that you can get so that you can fill this out yourself. This is a part of my 90-day run preseason series. So if you're not familiar with it, I am starting a 90-day run challenge, which will start September 25th and it will end December 24th, the day right before Christmas. The idea for this entire preseason is I want to treat it like a sport. When sports teams are ready to get that championship before the real season starts, they have a preseason to help them practice, to help them prepare, and kind of to help them prototype. And that is what this is every single week. And I have a playlist for it. So if you're just starting now, you can start catching up. And every single week, I do come out with weekly newsletters for it. Also, if you are not getting the worksheet or the weekly newsletter, please check your spam folder. And if you have Gmail, check your social folder. A lot of people are telling me they're not getting it, but a lot of times, like I said, it's either your spam or your social folder if you have Gmail. But essentially every single week, I am coming out with videos that are going to help you. It's worksheets for every single video. And this is going to help you for this specific video figure out time related to how to achieve your goals. I already have a video helping you figure out how to break down the 90 days, how to figure out how to make goals specifically for yourself, and so much more. So please definitely check that out. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. So many people are not subscribing. Please make sure you subscribe. And if you are joining the 90-day challenge, whether you're joining today, whether you're already in part of it, please comment 90 so everyone can see who's joining it, so that everyone can understand that they are not alone. Also, after this video at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, I will be having my live event, which will be today, like I said, Wednesday, when this video is uploaded. And if you really want to be a part of that, definitely make sure that you join. I'll have a link for it after this video. It's just my lives where I basically just talk to you guys, give you guys advice anonymously. If you want advice given to you, please email my advice email, which will be below. And yeah, I think that's about it. Make sure you follow me on TikTok. Make sure you listen to my podcast and just follow all my socials that will be below. But thank you guys so much. And I can't wait for us to start this 90-day run. Have a great one. Also, how are you guys liking the whiteboard? I've been doing whiteboards for the past 2 videos in the series. How you guys liking it?